Have you ever wondered why we fear certain things? Picture this: your heart pounding, sweat trickling down your brow, a knot tightening in your stomach. That's fear, a primal and universal emotion embedded within all of us. It's an alarm system alerting us to danger, and it's played a crucial role in our survival as a species. But what about those fears that aren't so easily explained? The ones that seem to emerge from the shadows of our psyche, like a spider creeping from its web, or the dizzying dread of peering over a high ledge. Yes, we're talking about common fears, those shared apprehensions that many of us hold, even if we can't quite put our finger on why. In this journey, we'll delve into the depths of 10 such fears, uncovering what they are and why they might exist. So brace yourselves, curiosity seekers, as we prepare to uncover the mysteries behind our most common fears. First on our list, the creepy crawlers that send shivers down many a spine: spiders. Arachnophobia, the fear of spiders, often stems from their perceived danger, despite the fact that most species are harmless to humans. Their sudden movements and unusual appearance can also be unsettling. This fear can cause palpitations, nausea, or even panic attacks in severe cases. Now let's leave the ground and ascend to dizzying heights. Acrophobia, or the fear of heights, can evoke intense fear, leading to avoidance of high places. It could be rooted in a fear of falling or a sense of losing control over one's surroundings. Imagine standing on a skyscraper's edge, your heart pounding, breath hitching. That's acrophobia. It can trigger dizziness, sweating, and even immobilizing fear in extreme cases. From the tiny terrors on the ground to the vast expanse above, fears can grip us in many forms. Now let's delve into fears that confine and the fear that confronts the inevitable. First up, claustrophobia. A fear that encapsulates the dread of being in enclosed spaces. Picture this: elevators, tunnels, overcrowded rooms. The trigger? A choking sense of suffocation, or the paralyzing inability to escape. Next, we traverse to the realm of thanatophobia, the fear of death, or the process of dying. This fear doesn't just lurk in the shadows. It's an existential concern, a contemplation of religious beliefs, a shiver down the spine at the anxiety about the unknown aspects of death. But remember, phobias are more than just fears. They are intense, persistent, and can lead to significant distress or impairment in daily life. The good news: understanding the triggers is the first step towards managing them effectively. Whether confined or facing our own mortality, fears can be deeply personal and profound. Fear can also slither into our lives or manifest in wide-open spaces and public arenas. Ophidiophobia, for instance, is the fear of snakes. This fear may be linked to their potentially dangerous nature, their unusual appearance, or even cultural associations with evil. Then there's agoraphobia. This is a fear of places or situations where escape might seem difficult, or help might not be readily available. It can include fears of open spaces, crowds, or public transportation. It's often tied to a feeling of being trapped or overwhelmed. Lastly, we have glossophobia, a fear that often strikes in the public sphere, the fear of public speaking. This can manifest as anxiety or even physical trembling when faced with the prospect of speaking in front of others. It's often rooted in a fear of judgment or embarrassment. From slithering snakes to speaking in public, fear can certainly keep us on our toes. Lastly, we explore fears that make our skin crawl or make us fear the cover of night. Trypophobia, a fear that may appear peculiar to some, is the aversion to irregular patterns or clusters of holes. The sight of sponges, lotus pods, or certain natural formations can trigger an intense feeling of disgust or discomfort. Then, as the sun sets and darkness takes over, those with nyctophobia feel a rising sense of dread. This fear of the dark or nighttime is often rooted in childhood fears, the unknown aspects of darkness or potential dangers lurking in the shadows. Finally, we have entomophobia. This isn't just an aversion to bugs, but rather a deep-rooted fear of insects, negative experiences, cultural associations, or a fear of bites or stings can all play a role in this phobia, often leading to intense anxiety or avoidance of outdoor activities. From the odd patterns in nature to the mysteries of the dark, fear can be found in the most unexpected places. With these 10 common fears, we've seen how diverse and fascinating fear can be. Each one, unique in its own right, shares an underlying thread of our innate human instinct to protect ourselves from harm. Arachnophobia, the fear of spiders, taps into our subconscious perception of danger even when the threat is minimal. Acrophobia, the fear of heights, points to an underlying fear of falling or losing control, a primal fear deeply ingrained in our survival instincts. Claustrophobia and thanatophobia, the fears of enclosed spaces and death respectively, present a more existential concern. The former speaks to our need for freedom and escape, while the latter confronts us with our mortality and the unknown. Our next set of fears, ophidiophobia, agoraphobia, and glossophobia, relate to our interactions with the world around us. We see the fear of snakes, open or crowded spaces, and public speaking, all of which are associated with perceived threats or dangers in our environment. Finally, trypophobia, nyctophobia, and entomophobia, the fears of irregular patterns or holes, darkness, and insects, respectively, illustrate how even everyday elements can become sources of fear due to their potential for harm or their association with discomfort. These fears, while seemingly distinct, all underscore our shared human experience. They remind us of our vulnerabilities, but also of our resilience. By understanding these fears, we can begin to manage them effectively, turning our anxieties into tools for self-awareness and growth. So, while these fears may at times seem overwhelming, remember that they are not insurmountable. Whether it's the fear of spiders or the fear of public speaking, each fear represents a challenge to be faced, an opportunity for understanding and growth. Remember, fear is a part of our human experience, and understanding it is the first step to overcoming it. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of our common fears. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more intriguing content.